Well guys, welcome to Rugby League Outlaws. It is time for finals football. Time to get excited. We got 4 super games coming up. Well, 2 super games and 2 absolute pastings in the making, but I'm excited. Before we get to that though, the Tigers had to embarrass us rugby league fans one last time by copping a 38-0 loss today to the Bulldogs.
38-0. Yeah, go the Tigers.
Speaking of the Bulldogs though, I've got a couple of interesting stats that you can use next time you're having a rugby league chat with your friend or foe. Up until today, Ruben Garrick from the Manly Sea Eagles had actually scored more points than the Bulldogs. Thanks Tigers for ruining our fun. And officially today, the Bulldogs have now won more games in 2021 than Josh Maguire.
Meetings! Dan, one of this show's favourite players, Josh Maguire, is facing another 6 weeks on the sideline, 5 to 6 weeks on the sideline for a pretty nasty tackle. Look, I get it, what he said to the referee. He couldn't go anywhere. The play was falling, but it was a swinging arm. There was lots of force in it, and it just solidifies the Dragons season. It's been a train wreck. There's no discipline. There's no culture at that club at the moment. Anthony Griffin has lost the plot as to what he's allowing the players to get away with. Jesus, there's, and now one of their better players, Tarek Sims, is, being told that he can move on because, he doesn't attend barbecues and he's not a scumbag. So I don't know what the Dragons are going to do there, but I don't really care either. Keep it going.
Announcement time. First of 2. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video for a monster groundbreaking announcment. It's pretty good. Next week, Terry and I will present the prestigious Toby R's. Forget the Dally M's, forget whatever the AFL does. It's all about the Toby R's. Next week, we'll be presenting awards ranging from Player of the Year to Disappointing Team of the Year, all that usual rubbish, plus our season highlights and some special awards keep an eye out for. Check the Twitter page.
Dan, let's talk about teams resting players in the lead up to the final game of the season. But let's talk about 2 teams in particular. The Parramatta Eels basically ran out with a reserve grade side, and the Newcastle Knights rested a whole heap of players as well. I think the Knights should have rested more. They couldn't finish any higher than 7th, so there was no need for Kalen Ponga, Mitchell Pearce, probably even Jake Clifford to play that game. The Eels could have, rested a whole heap more as well. They were playing against Penrith. They probably weren't going to win that game after you saw the squad that Penrith announced. But they've gone through and rested the players in the hope for a better run into the finals, and they got absolutely pantsed, both teams. The Knights' display against the Broncos was absolutely dreadful, and you've got to hope that some of these guys coming back can fix that middle up. But the way that the Broncos just went through them was nothing short of tragic for the Knights. Whereas, the Eels, the game went to script. The Panthers were too good for them. The Eels versus Knights play each other, so one of these well-rested teams is going to get eliminated. It's going to be a cracking final series, isn't it?
In more serious and unfortunate news, the NRLW has been delayed yet again and actually won't kick off until the 2022 season now. Look, they're promoting it as a bumper 2022 for Women's Rugby League, which is fantastic with the World Cup at the end of next year. Expanded competition. Look, it's a real shame, but it is what it is. You've seen New South Wales Cup completely rubbed out 2 months ago, I think now. Looks like Queensland Cup's going to condense and finish well after the fact. It's just one of those seasons, unfortunately. Something to look forward to in the new year. I hope it doesn't go against the AFLW because they've got a really good setup. But I hope it does something along those lines in the pre-season. People will be rugby league crazy, really. They'll be craving the greatest game of all. Puts extra eyes on. We'll see these superstars come out and play. It's come out today, in fact, that the NRLW players will be receiving a significant, was the word they used, pay rise next year. Look, that's great. My daughter's a big fan. Maddie Studden's a favourite player. If the Sharks get a team, I'll be there wearing the uniform. Until then, let's go rugby league. And lastly, Tommy Turbo had another fantastic week of football. Look, Manly, for 60 minutes, were bog ordinary 2 weeks in a row until Tommy Turbo said, game's mine, and it's game over. Look, Tommy Turbo is all Manly have. It's all they need, and it's going to be an absolute travesty if he misses out on the Dally M. In terms of how it works, I think Cody Walker is going to have played more games and is going to amass more points. But let's be dead serious. Tommy Turbo's had the best season possibly on memory. He's your player of the year and probably an outside opportunity at the most prestigious award of all, the Toby R.
What's annoying Terry?
What's annoying Terry this week? Is it inconsistencies in the bunker, referees' calls, touch judges being ineffective, no fans at the games in New South Wales, no games in New South Wales? No, it's not. It's the Gold Coast Titans making the finals over the Sharks.
Unfortunately, as of yesterday, our season officially ended, thanks to the Warriors and their horrible effort. But to be fair, we put ourselves in that situation and got what we deserved. Look, we'll have a full season review of the Sharks coming up in the next few weeks. Keep an eye out for it. But look, I'm going to throw to Terry real quick and then we're going to end on some positives.
Look, very disappointing result against the Melbourne Storm. You know, it's a big game. We had everything to play for. They rested a lot of players. Unfortunately for us, I thought they were going to rest even more. And, you know, it would be a game that we'd be able to win and get into the finals. But, you know, they kept Jerome Hughes and Ryan Pappenhausen. And really, those two were the big difference in the game. You know, Jerome Hughes, his kicking game, and he basically did whatever he wanted. And Ryan Pappenhausen, you know, his support play. If anything, he just needed one try to get that confidence back into the finals. He got 3. So, you know, he's going to break this final series apart now. He's a big X factor for them. You know, the question is what are they going to do with Nico Hines? Doesn't really matter. You know, he can come on, you know, rove around the field, play 13. He can start in the centres. It's not going to matter what they're going to do. This Melbourne team is just incredible. Yeah, look, disappointing. Up and down season for us. Destiny was in our hands. We lost some games we shouldn't have. You know, bring on 2022. The Fitzgibbon era starts now. Tarek Sims has been told from the Dragons that his contract won't be extended past 2021. And in fact, he can, you know, if he can find a club that's willing to take him on for 2021, he's free to go. I think this is a player that we need to be all over. Tarek Sims is very versatile. He can play left edge, he can play right edge, he can also play 13. Now, I know that we've got Cam McInnes to come in and play that role as well, but it's all about rotations and having this depth of experienced players and another big aggressive forward in there as well. Tarek Sims makes meters, Tarek Sims breaks tackles. He's got a great offload as well. Look, there's uncertainty around Wade Graham. Is he going to be the same player he was? You know, he's got his concussions, he's got knee injuries. Britton Nakora hasn't lived up to the hype that we thought he was going to after his outstanding rookie year. Cece Fatalakai didn't, you know, live up to the big expectations that he brought into himself after his 2020 season. I think a player like Tarek Sims coming in really, you know, solidifies the forward pack as to where it is. It's unfortunate for a guy like Teague Wilton and Jack Williams, probably pushes them down the pecking order a little bit as well, but it's all about squad depth, rotations, and what we need to do, you know, to get ourselves back in the top 8 and more specifically top 4 and contending for that premiership. And a guy like Tarek Sims, Origin player, plenty of big game experience, you know, just commands respect out on that field. It's an absolute no-brainer for mine.
With Friday night's loss, we saw the last of a few things, a few errors, if you will. Look, the Josh Hannay era as lead coach is over, which I think we can all agree on is a good thing. The era of deadwood players, I think, is behind us. Fitzgibbon's certainly not going to stand for some of the efforts that we've seen players put in the last few weeks with the season on the line. There's going to be a big roster reshake, which is going to be very, very exciting. There will be signings. There's a heap of salary cap space. We're going to see players linked. As Terry just mentioned with Tarek Sims, he's come off contract completely unexpectedly. We didn't see that a week ago. There will be players come off contract. Players A, B, and C are going to be linked everywhere. Contracts mean nothing in these days. Cronulla have got $2 million plus available in their cap, supposedly. It's probably closer to about $1 million. But that's going to prick the ears of every single player agent out there. Every player who got dropped to the bench in the last few weeks is going to say, hey, I can give you more. And Cronulla are going to get a phone call. But most importantly of all, the Fitz era begins on the 1st of November. So Fitz, everything will change next year. You know, I've had heaps of negativity this year and most of it has been deserved. It's all in the past now. It's all about Fitzgibbon. I, for one, can't wait. Hail the great man. Hail Fitzgibbon. Terry!
Talk to me, Dan.
America, America.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back on YouTube, the boys are back. That's right, Terry and I will be presenting American Outlaws. Look out for us this NRL off-season as we talk NBA, NFL, the big MMA fights and the big boxing bouts. This off-season, American Outlaws, baby.
Let's talk about some top sport tips. Look, I've rinsed them all the way through the regular season, so we might as well do it in the finals as well. Couple of cracking finals games as well. Minor Premiers Melbourne against Manly. This game's mouthwatering. Like, Manly have literally come from nowhere. 13th last year, into the top 4 this year, on the back of some brilliant, Tom Trbojevic. The guy's just an absolute magician. Melbourne Storm, they've had their patches as well. Nico Hines hit some great form. Ryan Pappenhausen was the best player in the competition until he got his head knocked off. He's now unfortunately found some form against the Sharks and knocked us out of the competition. So it's going to be great to see. Now, look, there's an injury cloud around Cam Munster. And the report today is that he's only 50-50 to take the field, which means Nico Hines will play in the 6. I think Melbourne still have too much for Manly. I would be way more comfortable saying that if Cam Munster was 100% playing, but even with Nico Hines in the 6, I think there's too much creativity in that side, and Melbourne's defence can handle Tom Turbo and can handle the wide shifts and the pace that they have on the flanks because, Melbourne have just got class players everywhere. I'm going to tip the Storm in this game regardless, 1-12. I think this is going to be an absolute sensational game. Probably the game of the final series for mine. It's the one I'm looking forward to the most. I think the winner of this game wins the premiership.
Saturday afternoon, we'll see the Roosters and the Titans in a must-win game, obviously, for both teams. Look, in terms of skill, players, finals experience, coaching abilities, everything about this screams Roosters 40-50-0. We thought the Roosters were a spent force when they lost Joey Manu to go with the 10 or 11 players that are already unavailable. They come out and put 100 points on the Raiders. Look, the Titans did really, really well to qualify for the finals. They'll be very up for this game. For the first 20 minutes, I'm expecting it to go both ways. I think for Fiedler to start, he has to. Surely he has to. But the Roosters are going to be too good. James Tedesco has put this team on his back and he's carrying them to another deep finals run. Titans will be in this, but I'm going to go Roosters 13+. The class is just in another world.
The other top 4 game, Panthers versus Souths. Now, look, Panthers are unfortunate not to get the minor premiership this year. They started the season on fire, but that run from Melbourne was absolutely incredible. For and against in the end got them. And that's just that purple patch that Nico Hines and Ryan Pappenhausen went on, which got Melbourne across the line for this minor premiership. Look, South Sydney, the only games they've lost this year have been to the Storm and the Panthers. And now they've got to come and play them without Latrell Mitchell. Blake Taff, is he going to be the person to play fullback? I'm not sure. Dane Gagai, do you play him there? You can't play Alex Johnson there. Alex Johnson is best on the left wing, finishing off those tries that they create with that shift. But if Souths were already in an uphill battle against Penrith and the Storm, it's made even worse now that they don't have Latrell Mitchell until next year. So I'm going to pick the Panthers to win this one. I'm going to pick them to win comfortably as well. 13+ for the Panthers. Look, it's a shame because, Souths were my tip to win the premiership, but one moment of madness has cost them. Penrith 13+ in this one.
And rounding out your finals football is the Eels and the Knights. Look, another must-win game. Obviously, Newcastle, another team that have done well to get this far. Parramatta have probably overachieved, then underachieved, given how well they started the season. If there's going to be an upset, this is the game for me. Newcastle were horrible this week. Parramatta were equally as horrible. Both rested players, which is fantastic for this game. Look, the Eels can probably be a little bit upset they didn't finish in the top 4. They should have, given their start. Again, though, in terms of class, the Eels have it all over the Knights, 1-13. Newcastle need the Saifidi boys back and fully firing. Even if so, Ponga's going to have the game of his life. And unfortunately, finals football hasn't been something that he's been able to lift up in his one shot. For me, Parramatta are the only team outside the top 4 with any sort of hope of going to a prelim final. I think they win this quite convincingly. We'll go 13+ again. I think Mitch Moses is going to have the game of his life. The whole season's built up for this, for the superstar halfback. He didn't deliver in Origin 3. I think he repays the faith here. Leads them to a 13+ victory.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by Punctured Media. Don't forget to like and subscribe to all their social channels. Make sure you watch Dan and I every week. We'll be bringing you content all through the finals as well. We absolutely love it. Get online, rip into us, tell us how you really feel. We love it. We absolutely appreciate everything. We're sending out prize packs for all you winners of the tipping competition and Super Coach, which was this guy in the second division. But anyway, but as always, Dan.
Finals Rugby League, baby! Sharks on there, first time in 6 years. What do teams do during finals?